Welcome to the Waldorf GridIron Club Podcast, your home for all things football at Waldorf University, the best small college football experience in America. Hosted by Andy Buffington and me, Troy Thompson, from the secret gridiron bunker beneath Bolsdorf Field. Now, let's meet the captains of today's podcast.
All right, welcome to the Waldorf GridIron Podcast. We got a couple big dogs here this week. We got Ethan Aune and Zach Throne. Ethan, he's the new O-line coach, hired in March. He comes to us from the confusing town of St. Paul. If you've listened to our other podcast, Troy is not a fan of the city management.
No, just the way they laid out the roads.
And that's a big deal. And then Zach had a long drive tonight. He came all the way from the Lake Mills area. Now, you live in Lake Mills proper, or are you a country boy?
Do you know where Scarville is?
Oh, there
Everybody
we go.
knows where
The
Scarville.
Vinje pub.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
I live a half mile up that gravel road right by the Vinje pub.
So,
Yeah, so
the
really
burger-
country.
The burgers. So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
now,
Oh, yeah.
they're not a sponsor yet, but the Vinje
should be.
Pub has burgers and cold beer. I'll tell you what, that's a great place, great service, great
I'm going
people.
to write that down because it seems like that would be the kind of place we'd send Gridiron members to if they're here a day early or even after the game.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah, that's why I
And
said
you know,
we would.
and maybe if
for a little bit
if you overindulge, you
sponsorship
can go
money, we'd
stay
send
at-
them even more.
Yeah, and if you overindulge, you can go stay at the Throne residence. I
Apparently. There
mean, it's
you
just
go.
a half
Look you
mile up
guys
the
up.
road.
How many people live in Scarville? It's like 300-400?
The popular, the
280.
sign used to say 100 more or less.
Oh.
So I think it's around 100.
But two Lutheran churches, one's Norwegian and one's Swedish.
I've never been to them. Not going to lie to you. Not going to lie to you.
I honestly, because I have to do things for work, and
Yeah.
I think the population was 72.
72.
Ah, man.
72, and they might have actually gained one. So the population went up more than 1%.
Well,
They're
the
booming
last-
right now.
all
Oh,
right.
absolutely. It's a population boom.
On the way up.
First down.
All right, we'll start off with Coach Aune here.
Okay.
And,
Got his picture.
oh, yeah, that's him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you look through, it's interesting because he played college football at Concordia St. Paul. And see, I'd
The
always...
Golden Bears.
The Golden Bears, yes.
The Golden
Absolutely.
Bears.
Yeah. So,
Like I could pet a golden bear. I think of the different types of bears that are known, polar bear being, I think, the most scary because they hide their noses. I don't know if you knew that.
I
or
did not know
they
that,
did.
no.
They know they're white, and so when they're in the polar areas, which is where they live,
Little
they
camouflage.
will like cover their nose so they can watch you, and they're totally camouflaged.
That's creepy.
That is very creepy.
Yeah, you can Google it. Black bears, brown bears.
Are you Dwight Schrute from The Office? How do you
And
know all
then
these
you've
bear
got
facts?
That's a
golden
good
bears. I
reference.
feel like golden bears are like the
no, actually, I think they're called the Golden Bears because didn't Jack Nicklaus go to school there?
no.
You guys look at me like,
That would be great,
who?
though.
I know who Jack Nicklaus
okay,
is.
good, that's
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
I was going to say, man,
Great
I'm
golfer.
old, but come on. Yes, absolutely.
Anyway, we'll let you talk about the golden bear petting situation.
So, and we'll do that. So, he's born and raised St. Paul, went to Highland Park High School. He's a Scot.
A Scot, yes, sir.
Did you have to use the accent? What are you, a Scot?
No, but I was the mascot for a while down there.
A mascot.
Yeah, they had me running around during the volleyball games in a kilt.
Oh, that makes
Really?
sense. Yeah, fantastic. Did you have like a big? See what I did there?
Yep, I saw. I recognized it too.
Oh man, these are like
The gridiron drinking game has
yes.
started.
All right,
That's
folks.
fantastic.
Take a drink.
Andy and I, as we've just developed this program, have come about a couple of conclusions, and one is that we say fantastic a lot.
Too much.
A lot.
Some would say too much. To which we say, if you hear us say it, you have to drink. It's a new gridiron drinking game. And if you're into drinking games, you're not Kool-Aid's fine water's good, stay hydrated, but
Yeah.
it's a great thing for a Saturday to sit around and
Coffee.
we're going to say it a lot,
Coffee.
a fantastic word. There you go. I hit it again.
So, Coach, your entire life in St. Paul?
So I was actually born in Putnam, Connecticut. So out east a little bit.
Yeah.
Spent some time back and forth. A couple summers out there, and then most of the time, St. Paul. Right back home.
That's why he's a Pats fan. That's what he was telling me before this.
Yeah, Patriots fan.
What do you know about
Oh.
Putnam, Connecticut? I don't.
Oh, no. You're
Small.
going to get in.
Did you spend a lot of time there?
Not much, but around the area. A couple summers. spent some time over there.
How old were you when you moved to the greater St. Paul area?
About a year old.
Oh, so
real young. But I spent some time out there for summers. We go back and forth.
So you spend the majority of your life living in Minneapolis, St. Paul area, and 1 year out east, but you're a Pats fan.
Pats fan.
Is that just so that you could, thumb your nose at everybody up there, all the Vikings fans?
No, not exactly. I mean, I root for the Vikings when I get the chance. When they're not playing each other, there's no reason not to.
Respect.
But yeah, Pats fan. My uncle, he kind of brought me to my first football game out there. So
Foxborough?
yeah, Foxborough.
Nice.
Drew Bledsoe throwing passes. So
That's before the injury and Tom Brady decided to say, you know what? I think I'm going to be the greatest quarterback that's ever played the game.
yeah, of all time.
What do you guys think?
I agree.
I don't think there's a question about it. He
No,
obviously
there's never
is.
will be.
Yeah.
If I had to take a QB though to win me one game, I'm probably not taking him. I'm either going to take Aaron Rodgers or Patty Mahomes. Probably.
Yeah.
Take his career though.
I know.
sure.
Yes.
I'd take his cash.
Yeah.
I'd take his money. And Giselle makes more money than Tom.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
Still, I feel like
Still.
people say that. Like, what's she doing?
I don't know.
Modeling. I don't
Still?
I don't know.
I don't
That's
know
what we
either.
always heard.
Still, I mean, is it like, well, she's way past her prime?
I don't know. I've never seen her except at a football game. And I've never seen her. I've just seen her on TV. So where's she making all this money from?
So what might be one of those stats from like 2012 that just people still
Yeah. Like, oh, she's making more money than the greatest quarterback of all time. I think that's suspicious.
Yeah, it sure is.
You know, if we had interns, we would have them dig into that and find out the true scoop. But
You'll have them
all of our money goes to the GridIron Club for the support of making this the best small college football experience in America.
You don't pay an intern. I mean, we could just have them come out here.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think about unpaid interns.
Exactly. Go fetch me some nachos.
There's probably some, what's your major?
I actually, so we'll get into this.
Yeah.
Last May, I graduated with a communications degree.
Oh, okay.
So
that.
I didn't play
All this stuff, yeah.
I didn't play this past year. And now I'm coming back to use my COVID year because I've been substitute teaching at Lake Mills and I've liked it a lot. So I'm gonna get a teaching degree.
Perfect.
Yep.
Well, look at that guy.
Kind of
Wouldn't be the only teacher in the family, I think.
if it is currently. I would be currently.
Oh, you would?
Yep. My oldest brother, he was filling in for 8th grade at Forest City.
Yeah.
It was a temporary thing.
Oh.
The person ended up coming back. I don't know.
Oh, he was deployed.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And now my brother actually works out at Diamond Joe Casino at the FanDuel Sports Club.
Okay.
So
All right.
he loves that job a lot. So
Yeah.
I think that's where he's going to stay for now.
And you might as well bring it up. Had a podcast going with that brother.
With that brother.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And you were
by Thrones.
Yeah. Well, Game by Thrones.
By Thrones.
Yeah.
I had that too.
And it was on our that was on your thing.
No, it's okay. I mean, I'll cross it off.
I think that we watched
hard
that.
work.
My wife and I watched that. We watched Game by Thrones. You were on YouTube. We're not on YouTube. We can't reveal our location.
Hey, that's okay. This is I want to say this too. This is an amazing setup. You guys cannot see this right now, but this is unreal.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, for a bunker, not bad. Not bad.
Yeah. Well, we're getting there. So anyway, back to Coach. How did we start talking about him?
How did we
just like zip.
I know.
Like
Well, we started talking about Giselle and
This is like the
you're a
life.
Pats fan, huh? What about
Oh
Tom
yeah.
Brady?
Well, let's go talk to somebody else.
We'll just wander around here.
All right. Well, let's talk about this kid over here. Now the big adult coach that we have. He's going to be Zach's coach for the first time this next year. 4-sport athlete in high school. He lettered in football for 4 years, track and field 4 years, wrestling 3 years, and basketball 1. Now at Highland Park, when you were a scout, was wrestling and basketball same season?
Same season, yeah.
So you let her 3 years in wrestling, and then you say, you know what, my talents. Or was it like I was a freshman and how'd that go?
So I had just committed to CSP, and previously my junior year wrestling, I'd torn my MCL. So I decided that probably a better idea to not, bring that back up right before I get into football.
Right.
My little brother, he played on the basketball team for all those years before that. So I got my last chance to play with him was kind of the deal. So
Nice.
Pretty cool. And then you lettered.
yeah, I lettered. I was a captain.
Wow. Just rolls in
Yes,
senior
exactly.
year. I'll be your captain. Thank you. If you don't, pin.
Yeah, you want to spend
Uh,
time
re-
on your
wrestle
back?
off.
He's got a nice voice. We should let him talk more.
He
No,
does have
it's
a nice
okay.
voice.
You do. You have a nice, you're a
Keep
good
talking.
storyteller. You didn't use any ums or weird pauses.
No
Can you
weird
sing?
pauses.
Good job. I mean, he was singing.
So in high school, did you do any extracurriculars, or is it just you were the?
I was a sports guy, but I also you didn't get this on your paper, but I lettered in prom too. All
How
4
do you
years.
say that again? You lettered in
Lettered-
prom?
What are they doing up there? How do you letter in?
All right,
prom?
explain
That's always
that.
weird, man.
Yeah. So on my letter jacket, there's a martini glass right there. Yep. So I went for 4 years. Freshman year, I got asked. Sophomore year, I got asked, and then junior and senior year.
That's like not an official school thing. That's
Oh,
pretty
It's
good.
on my letter jacket.
That is the most impressive one by
Is it
far
like-
out of all those.
Is it
all
like
those
did somebody draw it on with a Sharpie? I mean, is this like a
This is a
patch?
real patch.
sports. Legit.
Really?
Real legit patch.
Fantastic.
Wow. You know, I feel like there's something that Shane Hoff missed out on. Like he could have triple lettered or something.
Yeah, I think he went like 9 years, didn't
This
he?
is a guy from back in our day in high school at Forest City. I think he went to every prom for like 9 years.
Jeez.
Ended up just buying a tux. It's cheaper.
You'd have led the country in prom
No, we
letters.
got to be a little careful because
He listens.
the next weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, not this coming Memorial Day weekend, but the next weekend, I'm going up to La Crosse and spending a week with him. If he listens to this,
Yeah.
I mean, he'll beat me up.
Yeah. Well,
And I
That's-
will tell anybody when it comes to fighting,
yeah.
if you hit me hard enough,
You'll cry.
I'll lay there in the fetal position and cry. And so you'll have to feel bad about
Well, I will, Phil. If you show up with a black eye, I'll be like, ooh, he does listen. Cool.
it. I'm going to have to tell him to listen.
Yeah. I think he knows, though.
Yeah, well, we're staying on the river. I'm going to throw him over the balcony.
There you go.
Yeah, well, you know.
He's actually where we got the idea for the golf tournament, the
The Tundra golf.
Frozen
Yeah.
the Tundra tournament
Yeah, that
that we
was a
did
good time.
this past winter.
So, okay, let's get back to Coach here. Just real quick, we're going to wrap up what happened in high school. 3-time all St. Paul City all conference, all St. Paul City Conference, 2-time all St. Paul City Conference lineman of the year, all St. Paul City Conference in track and field 4 times, and all St. Paul City Conference in wrestling 3 times. So you're an all conference wrestler, and then you say, you know what? How come you weren't all conference in basketball?
I wasn't very good at shooting, I guess.
Mm.
Played a lot of defense.
So
You're the
Yeah.
enforcer.
Yeah.
You're in the paint enforcing.
How big a school is it?
It's about middle of Minnesota, so 4A we
Uh-huh.
are for football, which puts us kind of like right in the middle. I think we
Graduated
went up
with
since then, but
Well, how big was the class you graduated?
I believe it's like 900.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
that's
some of
how
the
many
schools-
people like go to high school around here.
I think K through 12 for Lake Mills is like 700.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's your
Yeah.
whole class. Different girls every time. Back to the prom thing.
Different girls every time. Yes, sir.
Good job. All
That's how you
right.
do it.
It's I mean,
Yeah. You almost.
no.
Yeah.
Did I get
You
like
didn't.
just a sip?
It was a half. People were nothing.
I'll
Well, then
say
Coach, he
fantastic.
he took
You
his
did it.
he took his talents down there. And how far of a drive was it?
like 5 minutes.
To CSP.
Yep. Real close.
Oh, so
Right downtown.
So he went to college across the road,
Not like
like Coach Henry.
Coach Henry. That seems to be a theme, though. I see. Yeah.
So okay, this guy, you played 40 games in college.
Yep. Started right away.
Yeah,
Big guy. I mean, come on.
yeah. So you were number 72 in high school and in college, and then when you were you graduated with exercise science degree. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So what are you doing with that? But I know that you'd said right away, like in your bio, it said, I want to be a coach.
Yeah.
So, but like, let's say, after you win a couple national champions, how are you going to use that exercise science degree?
See, the thing is I'm kind of pairing it with a MBA that I'm getting currently. So
From the Woo?
no.
The woo.
CSP still.
Yes.
Second down.
Anyway, we got to come up with this new brand of football so that we can say the
Blank.
blank. And so I suggested Woo Ball.
Woo ball.
Woo Ball. I mean, that's something that you could do songs about it. I mean, we could
2
maybe
syllables. It's nice. You can rhyme it with stuff.
Woo Ball. Yeah. And so, and that always, so if we are Waldorf University WU, would we technically be triple U?
That's a good point. That's a very good point. If you're W and U.
Yeah. So that drew silence. That was great.
Hey, it took me a little bit to figure it out, but
Yeah, we
I
got
had to
there.
wrap my head around it.
So at Concordia St. Paul, again, the Golden Bears, named after Jack Nicklaus. As a player and then a grad assistant, as a player, you played 7 games as a freshie. And then your sophomore year, you played all 11 games, starting right guard. You were NSIC All-Academic.
Yes, sir.
And then your junior year, all 11 games. You played a little bit of tackle as well. You were named one time for the Golden Bears, the Offensive Lineman of the Week. Your senior year, again, all 11 games. A couple-time Offensive Player of the Week. And
Thought I'd find a picture of you in the past.
oh no, if you look, anything is you can find it because you go into the bio,
Yeah.
and they'll show you all 4 years of pictures. You got this. He hasn't changed much.
Yeah.
He hasn't changed much. I mean, his
Oh, really? It wasn't that long ago.
and his
you
beard
know?
has got a little bit thicker.
Yeah.
That's about it. Yeah, but he had the shaved sides ahead. And stuff
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah. He was, well, he had to look good for prom.
4 years. 4 years.
My senior year, I had long hair.
Like, define long hair.
Long for me, I guess. Probably, didn't need anything to help hold it up, but getting about there. So,
All right. So,
flow.
so when you were a player, and then you're going to bring that here to, you obviously as your GA up there, what was your mindset? What was some of the things you went through as an O-lineman to kind of prepare yourself for the game, getting out there, things like that, and how do you translate that into coaching these guys?
Well, it's a hard question about the translating it to coaching, but as a player, I was known for being kind of a psycho, a little bit, willing to do stuff that the other guys weren't willing to do. It's kind of why I won a lot. So yeah, I think I'm just kind of try to instill a hard-nosed mindset with our guys, understand what it takes to, win a competition against another human being, right? That's ultimately what offensive line is. I have to physically impose my will on another large human being, and whoever's got the mindset's going to get it done because we're both big guys, right?
Yeah.
Whoever wants it more is going to take it.
Absolutely. And that goes back to that Penning guy from Northern Iowa that got drafted by New Orleans. They talked about him and that the people that played against him said that he's nasty. He's not dirty.
Mm-hmm.
He plays fair. He plays hard, but he's nasty to play against because he's going to do everything he can do to win.
Well, that's the idea. And hold nothing back. That's what you're getting at. I mean, just, well,
We're going to go for it.
yeah. Every time, every down.
I
I'm
have
going to
something
remember who I am.
with the Trevor Penning thing. I'm trying to look for a photo. I beat him in a pedal pull when we were growing up. So that's my claim to fame. Scarvo pedal pull.
Is that right? He came to Scarville?
I guess so. Chase Stuver, former Waldorf player,
Yeah.
he's from Clear Lake, and he's really close with the Pennings because one of the Pennings, Jared, went to Clear Lake, and he said, "Yeah, Trevor used to go to all these pedal pulls, and he got like 4th at nationals." And I'm still looking for the photo. I'm not exactly sure where it is, but I'll find it eventually. But he got 4th at nationals, but he got 2nd at Scarville that day.
That's right.
So that's my claim to
That's right.
fame right now.
It's like a little scene from The Natural. Have you seen that movie?
I've seen the end when he when he hits the lights and his bat,
Yeah. Well, everybody's seen that part. There's much earlier. He does have a moment with it's kind of like a Babe Ruth character.
Yeah,
if you
no, I've
remember.
seen The Natural,
Yeah,
yeah.
you've seen it. Obviously, we were there.
Is that
But,
Redford?
Yeah, Robert
Yeah.
Redford. Yeah. All
his
right.
first Hobbs. What's his
Yeah, Roy Hobbs.
Roy Hobbs?
Yeah, kind of like Ty Cobb type. Everything was played off of. It was a fictional story. It didn't really happen, but there you go. So, in a few episodes ago, we talked about that exact same thing. You said it better by imposing your will on another human being, but putting them in making them moving a person against their will and putting them somewhere else. That's just the greatest feeling ever.
Yes, sir.
Unless you're the one being moved, and then it's kind of a helpless feeling.
And it's not easy to do.
No, because they don't want to do that. So it's raw.
Yeah.
That's the trenches. That's
So
where the battle.
how much does technique play a role?
It's huge.
Yeah.
Knowing how to make your body move in a way. I tell the guys all the time, being a big athlete isn't a natural thing. It's something that you have to learn, especially guys at, freshman level of college football. They're going to have to learn how to be a big human being and move as an athlete. But once that comes, man, you get some road graders.
Yeah.
Sure.
So the reason I asked how big your graduating class was because of all of those things that you did rack up in all of those different sports. Do you think that's a little bit of an anomaly to be in a school, what I would say that's a large school, and to be in multiple sports like that and have success in multiple sports? Because around here, that's fairly normal, but it's because, yeah, we got to go out for everything because we need to field a team.
Yeah. It is a bit of an anomaly. There was only a couple people that did that at my high school over that time. We became pretty close. My little brother, he was kind of that same way. Currently, he's playing linebacker for the Gophers.
Okay.
Ooh.
So he's a pretty good football player too.
Yeah.
I got some stats on
Also
his brother,
didn't go
Josh.
very far. Just like,
Also didn't go
yeah,
very
it's
far.
across the river. There you go. That's
Defend
right.
the city, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's going to be a redshirt senior for the Gophers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, he was academic All Big Ten 19, 20, and 21. And then in the 2019-2020 season, his brother Josh was a Big Ten Distinguished Scholar.
Yeah.
So you guys, you not only bring the size and the athleticism, you bring the brains.
We try to.
Yeah. So what was your GPA at CSP?
My current GPA, I believe, is like a 3.85.
Okay.
In my master's program, I'd have to look back at my undergrad.
You know,
It's out of 4, right?
out of 4. Yeah,
Wow,
still
that's
out of
good.
4. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. Oh, dang it.
Drink.
You know what? That is fantastic. I said it twice, and I've said a lot more than that. I wish it wasn't such a thing. So that's in who was it that we talked to that did not like the Gopher program? Was that Dom or who was it that?
No, we haven't talked to Dom yet. We actually it was Logan Tyler.
Oh yeah, that's right.
From was it Eden Prairie? No, Eden Prairie area. I mean, he's from up there.
Right.
He's an EP kid.
I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
really like the Gophers.
EP
He
kid.
didn't like the Gophers.
Yeah, but he was 4-point student too. So something out of that. I don't know what you guys got in the water up there.
I guess so.
Yeah, it's kind of like the water in hobo water down in Brett.
It's not like hobo water at all.
Nope.
No, completely different. Linebacker water, and is different, I think, than linemen.
So you have another sibling, your sister. Is she younger than Josh?
Yeah,
and you
she's
both?
younger than Josh. She's currently a freshman at CSP.
What's she doing there?
I think she was trying to get oh man, I probably should know this. She was going for a degree to be a ultrasound tech. I believe she switched halfway through the year. I'm not exactly sure what she switched to. So she's doing something, I guess.
Oh, you guys sound close.
Yeah.
Well, we work together for the football program a lot, but football kind of gets,
Yeah, you talk about stuff. Tell me a little bit about the rest of your family.
my dad, he grew up in Burnsville. He works as a financial analyst, and he's, I'd say he's where we got our kind of tough edge mentality. I guess me and Josh, he beat that into us as kids. Not beat it into us, but pushed that hard as a kid.
He instilled it
He instilled it. There you go.
with his belt.
That came out once or twice.
Well, and that was one of the things that Coach Henry said in our first one. He goes, "Man, when you heard that leather, clear them straps."
Yeah.
He said he knew you were in for it.
Well, that's a little generational deal there,
Oh, absolutely.
for sure. Good, bad, or indifferent. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and mom, she's a special ed TA at an elementary school locally. So
you
yeah,
guys
she's from
kinda
out east.
Oh, so that's the Connecticut
That's the
connection.
Connecticut connection.
And so how did so was your dad originally from this?
My dad was from the cities, yeah, and then he went out there after college, just kind of get a fresh start, and met my mom, and then they came back, I guess,
Well, there you go.
after I was in the picture.
All right.
I guess he's the reason we're all here.
Well, there you go. We're going to come back to both these guys are on the offense, so we want to definitely cover the offensive schemes and the new offensive coordinator and all that coming up. But we need to.
Oh yeah, there's another guy here.
Yeah,
I was
he's
wondering.
trying to insert himself into this conversation 6 times already, and he's been pretty successful with
Hey,
that.
the guests need to talk more. That's what you guys said.
That's
so.
right. That's what our kids say. What
Yep.
do they know?
Exactly. I'm the parent here.
Let's do this.
All right, Zach Throne, are you going to wear number 56 again next year?
I asked Coach Finley, and he said nobody has it. So yes.
All right.
So I hope so.
So we got new travel whites. Did you know that?
Did not know that.
Oh, we got we actually have purple pants and tops. We still got the classic black.
Yep.
And new helmets coming in for next year. I mean, we're gonna have the Warrior W on the side. We're gonna have new stripe down the middle. Yep. We're gonna have gray. We're gonna have bumpers. The Warriors on the front, Warriors on the back.
Got some decals coming. You sure did.
Came back at the right time.
That's right.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, not only are we going to be good on the football field, we're going to look good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And GridIron Club, buying those. I know we're buying the decals for at least the Armed Forces appreciation.
Now we're buying all the decals.
All of them.
Yeah, because we're getting the Armed Forces decals for the Military Appreciation Day, and I don't have my list of which game that is.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it does matter, but I mean, it's June. So,
being a local kid, and one of the things we talked about with a lot of the Iowa athletes that we've had on here, Zach, trying to find your high school stats and stuff like that. Now, and you probably played both ways in high school. Mm-hmm. Trying to find information about Iowa kids is about impossible.
Yeah.
I guess I could have called Coach Beamer up there and said, "Hey, send me everything down that you know on Zach." But I just started on this last night, and there's the whole thing of being lazy.
Well, you did everything up there, like you do. Mm-hmm. By the way, the 17th of September is when the Military Appreciation Day is going to be. So it'll be
State
Dakota
cool stuff.
State, the Trojans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so, and you weren't just, I mean, you're here to play football at Waldorf, but I mean, when you were in high school, you were on the Nyack Prep All-Star team in basketball.
I won the 3-point contest. Yeah.
Man.
Yep. And I only played because they take 2 seniors from pretty much each area team. And Luke Groh, one of our, he's a better player than me, but it was during track, and he was hoping to make it to state track in a few events. So he's like, I don't want to get hurt. So then me and Charlie Duggar ended up playing in that thing, and we showed up, and they're like, yeah, you guys are in the 3-point contest. We're like, we didn't even know there was one. So then, me and him got first and second, and then I lost to a West Hancock girl. I lost to Faith Hammer when the guys winner versus the girls winner. That was a big hurt to my ego. I'm not going to lie to you.
great name though, Faith Hammer.
Faith Hammer.
That's
right.
Well,
that, and I mean, come on, the hobo water. Yeah, we talked about that in one of our podcasts, and that's something special down there. So here at Waldorf, obviously
something special in Lake Mills too. Their water's made out of Rice Lake, I think.
Rice?
I cannot dispute that.
Yeah.
And so here again, and we can talk a little bit more about your high school if you want, but you know, we probably shouldn't have done this. We bring in two really smart guys on one podcast. Usually we want to get somebody that's, you know, like,
it's like hanging out with ugly people. That way you look good. We can't have smarter people than us all the time. There's always going to be somebody smarter than us on our podcast. So that's guaranteed. But when we're starting to get outnumbered, thank God we can't do math. I think we're splitsies right now, though, so we're good.
It's third down, Warrior fans. Make some noise.
So 2019 COSIDA Academic All-American. 2020 All-NSA second team for his performance on the field, not just the classroom. 2021 NSAA Scholar Athlete, and in 2021 the National Football Foundation Hampshire Honor Society for academics. And obviously you have to be a producer on the field to get any of those accolades. Yeah. So couple smart offensive linemen we got right next to us.
Hey, we're a smart group.
You are.
Linemen are smart, man.
Gotta be.
And we talked about that with Cade, that it's one of the things that if you don't pay attention to what's going on in that game, the linemen, the communication is huge, and you have to be smart. You have to be able to recognize so many different things so that you can set your offense up as far as some of those skill positions behind you. But at the end of the day, you guys kind of get there's never hey, there's a great block by Zach Throne out there.
Yeah. Well, that is it, isn't it? You're not getting a lot of kudos, but at this point in your careers, you obviously know that, and it's not about that anyway. Linemen make great coaches. They make great students. They make great dads. I think they make, good friends, because they're not about, necessarily getting their picture taken. Not that they mind, but it's about, making sure that they get across the goal line. So there you go.
And let me tell you from experience, you really want to get out of the way if they had a bad series and they're coming over to the sideline to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because they really don't care who's in the way.
I mean, I know who you're talking about. There's been a couple suspects that have been not fun to be in front of after a bad offensive possession.
Yeah.
So some tempers flaring for sure. I was not one of them.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I think you know.
My temper might be flaring.
Your temper might be
next
flaring.
season,
Hey,
so.
you're the coach. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah. Well, so then what happens when are you getting let's start with the good stuff because are you getting love and support from the guys that you're doing the work for? I mean, you're doing it for the team, but
Yeah.
I mean, are they doing a good job? Do the backs, hook you up? Do they give you kudos? The QB say, "Hey, thanks for keeping my."
I mean,
Yeah. Do they communicate in that way too?
I mean, our QB for 3 of my years was Hilton Bo Joseph.
Sure.
Absolute stud.
Yeah.
He always made sure that we were appreciated, even though there were some games where he got beat up a little
Yeah.
bit, little guy scrambling around. But he always did a great job of letting us know that we were appreciated. Navi, a couple years back, my senior year, he was always giving us our props and making sure that, if other people weren't going to notice us, he at least was acknowledging us. And that it actually does help knowing that, hey, my teammates care about us. They know that we're grinding every single day, going through a lot of physical, I'll call it labor.
Right.
And it's just nice to get recognized, especially by your own teammates.
Somebody let a dog into the bunker.
I do have a beagle.
Somebody let a dog into the bunker.
Brought a beagle to the bunker, and I thought the beagle was in the bunker garage, but I'm not sure. Not sure what now. Now Jerry's like, there's a garage as well. How big is this bunker?
I know, yeah. Bruckoff's going to be looking for all sorts of stuff. Yeah, he still can't find the entrance to this place, and that's good.
I almost lost on my way in.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, there's
there's like a labyrinth. You got to get past a Minotaur. It's a big deal. I mean,
exactly. You've seen Indiana Jones.
yeah.
Yeah, it's that whole thing. You got to go through the puzzles, and yeah,
You step on the thing, and
yeah,
Booby
don't-
traps.
yep.
Yeah,
There's treasure at the end, though.
No spiders though. That will not be a part of this
Snakes.
situation.
Do spiders?
I don't like spiders.
No.
That actually, have you seen that movie, Indiana Jones, the first one, The Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Yes.
So the snakes, that's a big scene. Snakes. I hate snakes.
Mhm.
I don't like snakes either. But that didn't bother me as a kid. I think I saw it. I was like 8, 9, whatever, and the spider thing at the very beginning, where like the dude, he's like, "Hey, do I got a spider on me?" You got a spider, and it's like a tarantula, and like, he's got it on, one, and then he's like, "How about me? Do I have?" And he's got like
70.
30 on it, and I was up all night, freaked out about that.
Checking your brother. Do I have any spiders on me?
Yeah, for sure. So, good story there.
Yeah. So Coach Aune, what with your experience, 4 years? Well, I mean, obviously high school too, but 4 years CSP, 2 years of GA. What did you like up there that you want to bring down to the Woo?
I think for me, the biggest thing that I would like to bring down there is, in my time there, we built up a very good culture in the offensive line room. We took care of each other. We loved each other. And that's something that I want to bring down here to Waldorf for sure. Just the understanding of, we're a group of guys and we bleed together and we have a job to do and we need to get it done. That's a mentality that's hard to get. And you see a lot of offensive line rooms across college football that have trouble getting to that understanding. So that's something that I want the guys to understand. I also want them to understand that my job here and how I understand myself as a coach, as an offensive line coach, is I want to help you get to where you want to be as a human being. That doesn't always mean being your friend. Doesn't always mean being a hard ass when I don't need to be.
Yep.
But it's my job to get you to be what you want to be. And you need to also take the time to decide what you want to be as a group and as an individual. So those are tenets I'm trying to bring down from CSP. The offensive line coach I work with up there, Coach Medlow, great guy. And hopefully I can, bring that down to our room as well. So,
Well, it had to make you just thrilled to death when you find out that you get all this experience in Zach coming back.
yes, sir.
That's got to be a huge bonus. I mean, we've got some great guys coming back, but then, we're bringing size and skill and smarts back into that offensive line. And not that it wasn't there. So don't get me wrong, guys, because those are the guys I don't want to make mad. But at the same time, that's had to have been a heck of a bonus for you this year.
Yes, sir.
So let's talk a little bit about the offense. Things are changing for 22. So obviously that's what we're really fired up about. All the way forward, and we can't give away, schemes and all of that. How does the new offense, because we've heard it from a couple of linemen, we've talked to some, people in the backfield. So tell me, what's it looking like? How's it going to work?
Well, we got a couple things in the works. One of our main things that we're focusing on is getting a little more physical, getting a little bit more downhill oriented in our run game.
Okay.
We're also trying to package a couple things together. Some, exotic is how it's been described in the papers and stuff when Coach Courier was coming, not Coach Courier, Coach Paramore was coming up here. Called his offense was exotic all the time, which is kind of funny. As an offensive line coach, I like to hear that. But yeah, we'll give some exotic formations, and we're going to do a good balance of pass and run. So, not to give too much away. I know some of the other teams might be listening.
Yeah, well, I hope so. Hope they. You like that? You like that, guys? Yeah. Well, you subscribe, become a Patreon subscriber. You get all the details, but now you won't get anything special.
You get the playbook.
That's right. Yeah, for a
Every single
special price.
So is this is
2 years ago film
is what Coach Paramore bringing in, and obviously no secrets divulged, but is this his brand of offensive football something that he's been dreaming and thinking about, since he was in junior high drawing up plays?
Yes, sir. I think he's brought it down his line. We talked about it a couple of times through his time. He started off working with Gus Malzahn, and then spent some time at Faulkner University, where a lot of these kind of ideas were coming together, and the lingo and the language. Offensive football as a whole is generally pretty simple. It's just a lot of different languages and ways to describe it, and which one of those works best at being efficient, getting everybody the information they need, and changing the picture a lot. So, this language kind of started when he was early in his football career.
Can you understand a word that comes out of that guy's mouth?
Interesting enough, I've started picking up his accent, really. So much time we spent together.
Yeah. Show you rad. That's
cool. That's what happened.
I can't even mimic something like that.
Well, we're glad he's here, and glad you're here. I assume you're fired up about it. Sounds like you are. You're pretty dang serious about it, which is what I like to see that, actually.
All business.
Because you get blamed for it too. That's the downside of being the offense lineman. So you certainly hear about it in college, but in football, in high school, gosh, if you don't have a line, which in like 2A and 1A schools around here, there's a good chance that your line is made up of, 160-pound guys and
135-pound tackle.
That's what it is. Yeah. And they get after it and they do everything they can, but sometimes that isn't nearly enough. And then they get blamed for everything, and it's so apparent. And then, so the schools that are around us, and we say this all the time, like there's no need to drive. Look, there's nothing wrong with the Hawkeyes or the Cyclones or gosh, even the Gophers. If you want to travel and see,
there.
Division I ball, you sure can, and you can fight the traffic and do all of that stuff. But we got great football right here. And on Friday night, all the teams around here are playing just like everywhere else in America. And then it is such a difference. Maybe you guys can talk about this a little bit. From 1A, 4A in the cities and 1A down here locally, and then like your Friday night speed, and then your Saturday afternoon speed 3 years out of high school. Even the first day of camp speed. Talk about that, because it's wildly different.
You want me to go?
Sure,
please.
Like you guys are saying, I think we were A my senior year. So it's 8-man A, 1A, 2A, and so on. It's just like you guys are saying, offensive linemen, 160 pounds. They might be fast, but they're not strong at all. I feel like there are a few studs on the field, but after that, it's so top heavy. After that, like the quality and size and speed really dips off. But once you get here, there's no holes. There's
right.
Everybody in the field's on the field for a reason, and you realize that pretty quick.
Yeah. but the speed of the game. I mean, it's so much faster. Even Friday night football is great. I announce for the Forest City team, as well, and I love watching it. Got kids on the field most of the time, but golly, then you go to a Waldorf game and it's just like so much faster, and everybody's got a specialty, and it's just awesome to watch.
And we've talked about that ad nauseum, really. Just that I think a lot of people in this area don't understand the quality of football that's right in their backyard.
I didn't when I was in high school.
No, none of us really did. I mean, I was in Forest City growing up, and of course Dave Bolstorff was having all the success.
He had a machine.
Well, and they named a field after him too,
They did.
which is right above our heads. Yeah. But that's one of the things that that we're trying to encourage with this podcast and with the GridIron Club and things like that is let's get these people out here and see this brand of football. And some people would say, well, it's NAIA. NAIA, I'm sorry. They don't get all the shiny toys that the NCAA gets, as far as accolades, but NAIA football is a brand of football that has,
It's Wild West.
oh my God, it's fantastic. It's so much fun to watch.
Can you talk, Coach, a little bit about the recruiting process? Now, you were a GA, so you have had to deal with the recruiting process. You both were recruited, obviously, and now you're in that seat as well. And that's, love it or hate it, that's a big part of the business in college ball. And so tell me about your experience, with the recruiting side of the house.
A lot of guys, if you ask that question too, you'll hear different answers from, especially from the move from CSP to here. It's going from a big city to the country. A lot of guys see that as a negative. Personally, in my experience, I think that's kind of easy to sell, honestly, with the following that Waldorf football has and just the different attitude towards the game. I mean, my experience at CSP is it's awesome, being in the city, there's a lot of hustle and bustle and stuff. And a lot of guys want to go there out of high school, but they don't understand that when you're in the city, the guy that's walking right by Seafoam Stadium, he has no idea football games going on in there. Right. Where Waldorf down here, right, at like the people in the elementary school after a High Five Friday, they know those players' names, right? People care about you.
Yep.
People care about what happens here. People care about who caught the touchdown. You can be a star in a small town, right? So I think it's a pretty easy sell to move down to Waldorf for me, at least, in my experience, and recruiting against some of those NSIC schools for the same talent.
Yes,
there's not a lot of guys that are more
absolutely
experienced in the NSIC than Ethan Aune with how many games I played, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Zach, the recruiting process for you, I mean, as you were going through as a student athlete at Lake Mills Community Schools, 15 miles up the road, was it one of those things where, okay, I'll go play for Waldorf? What was that like for you? And what was your experience? Who was your recruiter, and what are some of the things you remember about that process?
Well, I remember in middle school, we took a little field trip to Waldorf, and it was, at the time I was like, why would anybody want to come here? It's Forest City. It's Lake Mills and Forest City.
Yeah.
A little bit of a rivalry. I think
Yeah.
it's died down a little bit from what it used to be. But I was like, why would I want to go to Forest City to go to college? But then when I get older, I didn't really go to like camps or anything. I wasn't super serious about I'm going to do anything I can to go play college football. But Coach LZ Anderson.
Yeah, LZ,
he started recruiting me, and that was one of the first years where they were like, okay, we want local guys, a lot of them. And then Littrell did a great job after that of, building up this culture that Finley's continuing and growing himself. But Coach LZ talked to me one time at the school. They do like that general thing. Hey, bring your 3 best players down here. We want to talk to them. Come play football. And that's really all it was. I went on a visit to Waldorf, and then he called me a few days later with the offer. And that's another thing about NAIA. You can kind of give however much money you want according to how good of a player you think you are. I think
that's no salary cap.
No salary cap? There's no salary cap?
No salary cap. There's a salary cap. No, there's a salary cap.
On the field, right?
Yeah.
Coach Rorick and Littrell, like when I was a junior, they explained that to us, and none of us had any clue about it.
Yeah.
And it has to do with GPA. There's some type of incentive that lowers it and stuff like that. But we had no clue about that. But even I committed to Waldorf in the middle of my senior year of basketball. And like a month later, I got an email from Upper Iowa saying, "Hey, I'm checking in on where your recruiting process is." I was like, "Well, I already committed to Waldorf."
Yeah,
So.
I think they know.
4th down.
How many guys have you run into that have got a size 15 foot, got great hips, got, big, tall stance, a lot of strength and everything like that, and they're just the softest guys you've ever met, and you're just like, I can't do anything with you because I need you to go out there and move the world, and that might require a little bit of fury.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
And, as a coach, you see guys get recruited too, based off of size, and then they have good high school film because all they did was, beat the crap out of small kids. But then when they get in a position where they have to face a human being their size, it takes a different mindset to walk into that wall and say, "Hey, I'm going to move you."
Yeah.
This is different.
Yeah.
It's not a fair fight now. It's not a beat down anymore. So what are you going to do?
Right.
One of us is going to bleed. Who's it going to be?
Yeah.
We talked a little bit in our first podcast with Logan Miller. He's an offensive line star as well, like Zach here. And we asked him, like, is there a lot of, I know our skill position guys, they're running their mouth a lot. And that's good to some extent. But it's like, is there a lot of that going on? When you were up front and
Not that I experienced, not much. Maybe I remember there was a kid from presentation that I hated, like as a sophomore, but that's about it. Like, not much talking, especially when you're on like a 9-play drive and you're going. We've had no huddle offenses pretty much our whole time. Like, I'm trying to save all my energy for the actual play and getting my guys in the right spot, making sure that they know what they're doing too. So, occasionally there might be a little bit of jawing at each other, but a lot of the energy is more focused on kind of what we're doing.
In my experience, there's a lot of guys that talked a lot of crap, but I always found that, how I responded to that is I would just be quiet and, give them the dead eyes, and they're like, "Hey, you're going to kill me. So I'm going to not talk to you."
1,000 yard stare.
I love it.
Right through it.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
I love it.
When the kid says something really wild to you and you look at him like, "Okay, yeah," or you laugh and smile.
Yeah. Oh, if you could,
It's really,
you could see his face. He got the crazy eyes a little bit. It's awesome.
So from an offensive line perspective, when you're dominating somebody, what can you do psychologically to really just kind of do that ultimate defeat where they're like, "This just sucks. I don't want to go back out on defense now because this guy owns me"?
We never did it in games, but a couple years back, I think it was my junior year, I think. Do you remember Peter Neal?
Yep.
He had this thing we called the SOOOOOUP, or he kind of brought it. And basically, if you pancake a guy, you kind of slither over their body and put your private parts over their face, and then you get up
rub your
and
balls
walk,
on them.
The soup.
Yeah, soup. And somebody comes up and stirs the soup while you're doing it.
Oh my God.
So that happened a few times at practice, and D linemen do not like that at all. It is
Angry.
Yeah.
That's
Angry. That's great. I love that story.
soup.
And there's, well, maybe that's the cheer, because we've been talking about that with our offensive linemen that we've had in here. Yeah.
I might have to write that down. Well, why do I have to write it down? It's recorded. I'm going to hear it 10 times before we're done with it. Yeah, the soup. I like soup. People won't even know that, but I've noticed about the PA thing that they will just do what you tell them. I'm like Ron Burgundy. I'll read whatever you put in front of me. So they got to be really careful with their scripts up there. But like that whole thing, if we make some noise and then they do that. So
Yeah, defensive stuff.
Like
We
give
got
some power up there.
Oh, a little bit.
A little
And
power
like,
up there.
soup.
Test it a little
That'd
bit.
get the lineman going.
Oh yeah. All you got to
They
do
know
is
what that is. They got to know what it is, though.
Yeah.
well, and that's just the thing, is that you're going to have to pay attention to that. So when you see somebody get pancaked, they're on their back, and
Yeah.
next
Well,
thing you know, that's where all you got to
Yeah.
do is, all right, Warriors, soup.
I mean, it's nearly it's certainly every run play. So there's no doubt about that. And occasionally it's the passing plays too. Like every time you see it. So I wasn't aware that's what it was called. I'll be looking for it now, and if it's not there, we'll create it.
Well, we refrain a little bit from it during games, so you don't get a penalty. So we do it a little bit more in practice.
Oh,
But, I think
that's a penalty?
Probably couldn't run over and stir the pot.
yeah, you probably could.
yeah.
You probably
Oh.
really could.
You can do the
Then
slide.
they get a taunting.
You probably you do the
do the
slide.
slide.
You can get
You're
away
just
with that.
you're just getting off the pile. I mean,
Yeah, I'm just sorry. This is the easiest way to get off.
I love it. Well, there we go.
Yeah, we learn something every time we do one of these.
It is great, though.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So one of the things is, real quickly too, that it's kind of stuck in my craw, and from you guys that have been around the game for a little while, I assume college football fans, both of you.
Yep.
what is your feeling on the higher levels of college football, this NIL money and the transfer portal? I mean, we throw those two things, and you want to talk Wild West right now.
Yep.
It's like it's just kind of open. I mean, it's turning more into the business side rather than the student athlete competition side. So do either one of you guys having a strong feeling about it? Because I'm not going to talk about it a whole lot because it I don't want to say it's upsetting, but at the same time, it's kind of like it's done something to, in my opinion, almost tarnish something that seemed a little bit more pure, whether it was or was not. It just drives me kind of nuts.
I don't really have like a strong opinion, but I like it in the fact that a team like Jackson State can kind of have a shot in recruiting now.
Yeah.
And also for years, these blue bloods in college football, Alabama, Georgia, they're all doing it anyways. Just, it wasn't a legal thing. They're doing it under the table.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say it's a fair fight now. I mean, now those schools can probably give a little bit more than what they were giving before with this whole NIL thing. But those smaller schools now at least now have an opportunity to be like, before, if you came here, we couldn't give you any money, but now we can. So if that player liked that school more than the big Ohio State,
Sure.
there's a little bit more of an incentive to go there.
Yeah.
But I do agree, like the whole Nick Saban calling out Jimbo Fisher thing last week, and then Jimbo Fisher going off, that was kind of awesome.
A&M does everything 100% legal. But it's like, I always wonder, is it going to lead into that one of those things where you walk in as a recruit and say, all right, here's your NIL package. We got Troy's Fried Chicken. Mm-hmm. We've got Buffington Honda, and you're gonna make $625,000 your first year.
Great.
That just makes it gross for me.
So if a kid's going to go and like lay their heart and soul on the line and their body and potentially have lifelong consequences for that, and at the end of the day, you know, that Saban's making $20 million and or whomever, you know, whatever it have, you know, okay, something's got to give. Mm-hmm. And I think that's and the NCAA is doing just fine. I mean, they're billions of dollars.
It's just like the GridIron Club, they're nonprofit.
Yeah, but not like the GridIron Club, because there's billions of dollars. By the way, visit and click on the Patreon portion of this, and you can sure go ahead and become a member in a variety of ways and give financially that way, but not to the level of billions unless
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
Yeah, Elon Musk is like, you know what I think I'm going to do?
I'm going to be a warrior gridiron.
Yeah, but I don't. That's not how he talks.
I don't know. Is he Austrian? Isn't he?
He's South African.
South African.
I can't. I don't know how to do South African. I don't know.
You're good at impressions, though.
Yeah, I know. Right.
So talking about the GridIron Club a little bit, you know, Coach Aune is, I mean, he's the newbie here. I mean, he's been here like 2.5 months. What's some of your impressions about the GridIron Club? And if you had wishes and hopes and dreams about it, where do you think you'd like it to go?
I mean, I love it. Coming from CSP, they didn't have anything close to this level of support, but also like the freedom it kind of gives the football team to help the guys get the experience, you know, that they deserve. I know it's, you know, small town, small college football, but at the same time, like, why can't we make it big here? You know,
no reason.
No, there's no reason at all.
I didn't know that it was called Seafoam Stadium, which has got a nice alliterative ring. I'm really impressed that rolled off my tongue like that. But I will say, I didn't know that was the case. I put seafoam in a lot of my stuff. I mean,
I do too.
I didn't know I was supporting your situation up there, but that's pretty cool.
Phil Fandra, he was the CEO of Seafoam.
I had no idea.
Alum.
Nice.
But it's weird though, because the guy that's walking from his house the 2 blocks to Target past Seafoam doesn't know it's called Seafoam either.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
No.
Yeah, so that was.
Well, everybody knows it's Bullstar Field.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's Bullstar Field, and because that's just one of those things that, I mean, around here, you know, Dave Bullstorf is an icon. He's up in northern Minnesota now, I believe. Still,
he's got his own bunker up there.
Oh, he's a busy guy. I was talking to somebody that said they went up and visited him and said Bullsy is still just, you know, late 80s and just going.
I don't think he's late 80s, is he?
Mid 80s probably.
He's old.
You know, it would be great to have.
I bet he's still strong as all get out.
Just to reiterate too, though, I don't know. Being a guy that's been around college football in small towns and big towns as much as I have, I don't know if everyone that's, you know, only been around Waldorf understands how much of a a huge deal it is to have a gridiron club. You know, that's not something that a lot of people have. Not a lot of people have a gridiron club podcast. That's not something that you hear a lot of.
There you go.
Like, hey, we have people on the podcast. So it's a real special situation right now at Waldorf. So
you guys started it. Andy was in on there, Courtney Woogie, my brother-in-law Reed Burkholder. I mean, like guys that were saying this has got to happen.
Which
and then,
Literal was really the one that I remember. I was running an establishment, or I was a partner in an establishment in town, the Paddler's Tap, and he was in there with some of the coaches and said, you know, we really need to do a gridiron club. Yeah. And that was really, I mean, and it wasn't anything I did. It was other members of the community that came through and did this. And at first it was like, hey, we got kids coming up here from Miami that they got shorts.
Yep, they don't realize.
Yeah, so let's help them out. You know, some kids, and we still do that. If a kid needs some help, we're going to give them some help. They're members of our family. I mean, this is the Waldorf family, guys. But then at the end of the day, for us, is like now we're getting enough contributors, and those folks that are listening to the podcast, make sure that you check your mail, because you're getting a letter from us, and we're asking you to contribute to this, because we're taking this program that struggled for quite a few years. It has had a ton of success and obviously fantastic coaching, as well as being able to bring in athletes like Zach, bring in coaches like Coach Aune. And I tell you, it's a special place, you know, and we're able to continue to build this program and bring it up to not just act and play like champions, but to look like champions too, you know, and little equipment things. And that makes a big difference, you know, in recruiting. If it's like, hey, dude, we got some 2014 Riddell helmets for you, but you can't wear this one. It's got a crack in it. We got some tape on it. It'll be fine.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's not legal, but at the same time, you know, it's one of those things. We're trying to do those things so that limited budget that the university has, and rightfully so, that for us, let's get these guys the stuff to bring it up to that next level. And when we need stuff, let's just do it. I mean, it's been a lot of fun.
Touchdown Warriors!
We need to be good at being hosts for the next few years. So they need to, if they stay, fantastic, we win. If they leave, they're a little bit Iowan, and we win. So that is, you know, whether you're from, you know, Britt or Lake Mills or Garner or Forest City or any of the Albert Lee that, you know, if you're from around in, you know, this area, coming to the games isn't just about having fun and being entertained, which you certainly will be.
Oh, absolutely.
It's about showing up, because these are now our kids for the next 4 years. And I will say anything about, I don't know how it is everywhere else. I imagine it's very similar, but I know for a fact that around here, that we aren't necessarily, Lake Mills isn't a football town or a wrestling town, although it's a pretty good wrestling town and all that stuff. You know, Forest City's not a basketball town. What we are a town that does whatever our kids do. So if our kids are there, we're there. Well, now guess what? When you come to Waldorf, you're our kids for the next few years.
Yep.
And that's where we need to be.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to start finishing up here pretty quick, but what I want to do is I want to give both Zach and Coach Aune the opportunity for some closing thoughts. So Zach, what do you want to tell us in closing, and about the Gridiron Club, or anything that's come to your head?
Like Coach Aune said, you know, the podcast thing is super cool. When I saw you guys, I think the Warrior football account on Twitter, like, put it out the first time, and I'm like, this is so cool. You know, I'm a kind of a podcast guy. Obviously, we talked about how I had my own. This is just, it's another way to kind of get the word out about Waldorf. And we talked about that before. When I was in high school, nobody knew about Waldorf football in the area. And granted, part of that is due to team success. Literal comes in, wants to build a community in this North Iowa area, and you raise the team success as well. It's just a domino effect. You're going to get more and more people supporting, and you guys are two of the biggest supporters, so I thank you guys for that. And I don't know, going into this last year of playing football, now it's my last year of playing football. You know, 2 years ago I thought that was. I'm just really blessed to have this opportunity to go back and play with the dudes I love and play for a school I love, and also go towards a degree that I was going to get anyways, you know, wherever it was. So I'm really glad I can kill two birds with one stone this fall, and I'm super excited to go back and play, because I missed it this past fall a lot. I talked to you a couple times. I saw you on the sideline at games. So I went to a lot of the home games, and I missed it a lot. So having one last go around, one legitimate last shot at trying to, get a ring. That's kind of the goal.
Yeah.
That's kind of been our goal,
Yes, it
this
is.
whole time. We've been close. We haven't gotten it done, but I fully believe we'll do it this year.
Absolutely.
Well, I think, I'm sorry,
Please.
I wanted to ask you that because I know what it's like to be, I didn't play ball in college. Most people don't. They play ball in high school and then it's over.
Mm-hmm.
And you're sad and then you go on. You play ball in college, it ends also. And you do have a period I've witnessed with two of my older boys and seeing them go through that. Just it's a withdrawal.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing that, and I'm certain that, Coach, you can talk to that too. So here you're given this, wrapped up little gift from COVID-19, and they're
Yep.
like, hey, you have a year.
Yep.
And that's got to be just not, look, it's going to come again where this is the last, this is it.
Yep.
And that is such a crazy, that had to be a part of it, right? Like, you have this one moment, no matter what you've got going on in your life, you've got this much time. You've only got this one time in your life that you get to be a part of a football team. We all have to say goodbye to it at some point.
Yep.
And you had this opportunity to snatch it back. And I mean, what did that, well, how did you feel? I mean,
It changes my perspective. The last 4 years, it's like, man, this practice, this is going to be tough. Like, we're going to grind through it. We're going to try to get better, but you're not like super eager to go at it. I feel like that's something we've developed from my first year to my senior year. And then this past year, creating more of an excitement to, like, you get to do, you get to be at a college football practice.
Yeah.
You get to do a really hard workout.
Yeah.
And then taking a year off and not being able to do it. It's just a changed perspective. You have a lot more.
You've kind of been Scrooged to it. You know what I'm saying? In a certain sense, like, you had the opportunity to see the ghost of football past,
Yep. Got a
present, and
glimpse of it.
future.
Yep.
And you were like, whoa. And then you wake up and you're like, I got one more season in
One
me.
more, yep.
Now you get to go out, burst out into the streets and be like, here's what we're going to do. And we're just going to, and that's got to be valuable to have that much experience. And Coach, how's that going to work out? We can translate that to the whole line and the rest of the team.
Yes, sir. I'm hoping so. We've got a couple young guys in the offensive line, but we also got some couple, old vets, and hopefully these guys understand after a couple of those, first meetings that, my expectation, hopefully their expectation too, is that we're going to create something here, and that I expect them to help bring those young guys up, and then they can have pride in that. I know, in my experience, the most fulfilling thing I did in football, and when I'm, old and gray and laying in a bed somewhere, the things that I'm going to remember aren't winning games, losing games, and the parties after. What I'm going to remember is the dudes before me that I played with, that I bled with, and the dudes after me that I'm sitting on the sideline cheering for because I'm proud. And I feel guilty because I don't get one more year with them. So
You're not going to be old and laying in bed. You'll be going to prom.
again,
My 67th prom.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things that, when you're around the program a little bit, and, Coach has seen this a bunch, but it's like you see those team leaders like Zach, and, he had last year off, and thank God he got that COVID year and he decided to come back, because that's going to be such a benefit to the team. But it's also going to be a huge benefit, like Coach Aune said, is that those young kids, because it's the leaders like Zach that you see him on the sideline during practices, and it's not just one of those things like, so what do you want to do? Like, you want to go grab Hardee's, or no, it's usually like, hey, what you were doing there. And they're working with these kids, these freshmen, sophomores, and sometimes even juniors. And that's not just an O-line thing. That's throughout. Those team leaders really bring those kids up, because there's that expectation of greatness here at Waldorf University. It's not one of those things where it's like, dude, you didn't do so well. Good luck next time.
Right.
It's like, I'm going to help you because he's got the experience.
Yeah.
Zach is going to take these kids and bring them up to the level that he expects them to be at, because at the end of the day, we're all warriors.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And it's not one of those things where I'm better than you because I get to start. It's like, no, you learn from me. And that's such a huge component of this team, of the culture here. It's not a selfish thing whatsoever.
Yeah.
Everybody gets better by being better, by learning, by listening.
get some built-in little brothers.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's what we also did. My first few years at Waldorf, we had a big brother, little brother program too. And kind of your first experience, or your first week there, you're hanging out with this guy from Miami, Florida, who you never really be talking to. He's a different position group. You wouldn't really connect with him as much. Like Dom Watt was my little brother my senior year. Now we're really close friends because of this little brother, big brother thing that we created. And I know it's not same position group like we're talking about with O-line, but
still
just that camaraderie, especially during the fall camp period. It's a grind. Everybody in the Iowa late summer heat, and it quickly turns to cold. But it's special, man. I need one more taste of it. So that's what I'm doing.
That's fantastic. I can't tell you how excited that personally to have you back on the sidelines and dressing as a Warrior. But just for the team, it's going to pay some dividends.
Expectations are high on your part, experientially saying I'm coming back and this is what we've got one more opportunity for you to get that ring. And then coach, experiential expectations. I'm excited about that because you're a serious dude and he's got some good crazy eyes and he's looking like, look, I'm going to instill a little crazy in you. And
I'm across the table from him. He keeps looking at me and I feel like I should just
I like that.
I know.
I want to.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. So we'll some of that, but I like the soup. We get the soup.
I think we got something there. I think we got something. So thanks for the story, Zach. Yep. So we're going to wrap it up. We want to thank Coach Aune and Zach Throne, our returning team leader, for being here on the Warrior GridIron Podcast, the Waldorf GridIron Podcast, 601. So that's going to be it for us. Again, thanks guys so much for being here. This has been a lot of fun. This has been a good one. Mm-hmm. So remember, make sure you click on our Patreon link and give as much as you possibly can, and we're going to make sure that we put it to good use. So with this, I'm Andy Buffington for Troy Thompson, and thank you for joining us on the Waldorf GridIron Podcast.
Go Warriors.
Go Warriors.
Fantastic.
You can join the Waldorf GridIron Club today by sending a check to Waldorf GridIron Club, P.O. Box 125, Forest City, Iowa, 50436. The levels are $100 at the black level, $250 for the purple, $500 for Warrior, $750 for all conference, $1,000 gets you into the all-American level, $1,500 is the championship level, and $2,500 is the Hall of Fame level. Or check us out on Facebook and like our page, Waldorf GridIron Club. Or you can email us at waldorfgridironclub@gmail.com. Or it's as easy as clicking on the Support the Show link on your phone. Become a patron of the GridIron Club by choosing to support the program monthly. The Waldorf GridIron Club Podcast is hosted by Andy Buffington and me, Troy Thompson. Produced by Sunnyside Farmstead Studios in beautiful rural Forest City, Iowa. The music is by Christian Leo. The Waldorf GridIron Club is a nonprofit 501c3 organization dedicated to the football student athletes of Waldorf University. Our mission is to assist the program in maintaining the best small college football experience in America.
I'm going to suggest something. You guys tell me what you think about this. This is a little family secret.
Okay.
But I'm willing to share it with the people in this room and
In this bunker.
Whoever listens to the show. Anyway, what do you think about Sayuda? Now, that's a thing that we have shouted as a family as our kids play pretty much any sport except for church league. And you'll find out why. Because we always said that Sayuda was like a native term for, go do great things. But it's actually an acronym. And you'll be surprised to know that my brother-in-law invented it. It stands for, it's spelled S-I-U-T-A. And it stands for shove it up their ass. I don't have that button.
You missed the
Where'd my
button.
button go?
Swear button.
Oh, well.
Well, that's
I
not
think
a
we can
terrible
say
word.
No.
Sayuda.
You can think we can get the Warrior crowd to say Sayuda.
As long as you don't tell them what it means. It's a cool chant. Just,
Yeah, excited. We're gonna have President Alsop on here one time. It's like it'll be mid-season. Like
He's got
so
a
that's
Sayuda T-shirt. Very good.
I know back in
Doctor.
back at CSP, my favorite play that we ran was a formation called Bohica. Bend over, here it comes.
That's a,
Bohica and Sayuda. They don't even know. These are warrior terms. We'll make up. We'll
write
make
these
it up.
down. I mean,
Yeah. Well, Sayuda is written down in my brain. Bohica.
Bend over, here it comes.
Here we go.
I love that.
And soup.
I got to play tight end that play.
every lineman's dream.
Yep.